Good evening, everyone. It is February 25th, and I guess I'll call this the Dark Pool Report, I guess. I don't know, but for real, let me know if y'all have any suggestions on what to call this, if we're going to keep this happening every week. Uh, I guess I like the name Dark Pool Report, but this is a breakdown of the Dark Pool action that happened the week prior, and so I don't know. Dark Pool Report, I don't know, it sounds all right, but I don't know, maybe someone has a better idea. But if you have any ideas for real, let me know in the comment section below. And also, if you stick around to the end of this video, there I will share a trade idea that I'll be stalking into next week and potentially in 2 weeks ahead, I guess. But yeah, I will be stalking a setup, and I'll be more than happy to share that idea with you if you hang around to the end of the video. But if you watch this, you're more than likely just going to fast forward anyways. Let's be real. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. But before I talk about that trade idea, let's talk about the one that I showed y'all last week, right? I did show y'all PLD, Prologis. I'm actually still in this position. I wasn't in it when I showed it to y'all last week, but I still do like it. In this zone right here is where there was some dark pool activity. We are pushing up, and I do like it over here on the weekly time frame where it looks like we're going to push up as well. But the question for me is, did I give it enough time? And the reason I say that is because we are stalling out here at 135, but we'll give it a chance to prove itself. But if we do go back over to its ETF, where it's looking pretty solid down here, where there's 29% of its average trading, or 29% of its 30-day average daily volume occurred right here on this candle, and you see we get the push up. I still really do like the weekly time frame as we rallied up, pulled back to the 50, and those look like clean pullback, looking to at least come back up to 40. If the daily can get above the 50-day SMA, then that will cause the push up there as well. But I'm still in position, and so we just have to see if that does play out. All right, so let's get started. All right, so, and there's been a lot of talk about JP Morgan, Amazon, and Meta. So, we have Zuckerberg and Bezos and everyone just unloading their positions at the top. So, a lot of people are concerned of, is there something to be concerned about? And, what do they know, what we don't know, things like that. But I did go ahead and pull up those tickers as well. I went look into the dark pool to see if there's any signs of anything, and also the major indexes, which can be considered what I look to see what's driving the market, because if those people know something, then it's going to show in the indexes. So I look at the indexes to see if it shows any signs. And also there is another thing we got to talk about is, because I was looking for the Qs to pull back last week because of the dark pool selling that occurred, but it didn't. And so we got to talk about that too. So what does that mean? So let's go ahead and get started. Since we're right here on the Qs, we'll go ahead and we'll start off on the Qs and what exactly is happening and what does it look like is happening. Like, are we in a position where a pullback may occur? I'm going to go ahead and go to the Qs here. I'll maximize this chart here. I'm going to narrow it down to an hourly. And I am going to get rid of this for now, just so it cleans up some of the lines on there. All right, so anything on the Qs, anything greater than 4 million late prints they show a level of, basically you have to watch it. It's a level of concern or level of attention, whatever you want to call it. And if you're unaware, I'm going to ask this, I'm going to say this now too. If this is the first time you've heard of dark pools, the first time you've seen how this works, let me know in the comment section if you don't know how to utilize this, and I'll be more than happy. I'll probably make a video on it as far as like how this works, like why is this important and why are these particular print levels important. So like in the Qs, greater than 4 million. So like I said, if any of this is new to you, let me know in the comment section, and if I get a decent amount of people saying, yeah, I don't know how this works, by all means, I will create a video explaining how this works. All right, so in the Qs, greater than 4 million late prints. I'll just put LP for late prints. We got them last week. That's what I was looking for, to see if that will cause the potential pullback in the Qs, because it's obviously been roaring higher. And what I do want to point out is, okay, so there is, I actually need to fix this one, make this a single line. because it's only 2 million. Anything, the levels of importance, I make them dotted and bigger. All right, so there was two continuous ones right here. There was a 4.1 and a 4.7, which is important. And this was not the week that just passed, but the prior week, right before NVIDIA earnings. So that's something that is worth noting. It was before NVIDIA earnings. All right, so greater than 4 million right here, and we really haven't gone too much above them. And we'll pull up what happened last week to see if it shows anything we need to be concerned about as we rallied higher. So we'll see if there's some in there. See, so that'll be basically this spot right here, right? But this right here, this is going to be a level worth watching because if we get back below those, then it does open the door to come back at least for a pullback. And then if I take it this way, like let me actually do this. Boom. Then I'm going to go over here to defaults. And then bam. All right. I wanted to clear that up some. So let's go over to the daily time frame. And something worth noting is that we're hitting this resistance here. Those dark pool print levels are about right here. So if this holds as resistance again and we do get below them, it does look like we may consolidate a little bit more here. I'm not looking for some huge crazy pullback. I am just thinking that we consolidate up here for a little bit. And if I'm dead wrong, say news comes out and we push up higher, cool, as we have really pushed up those levels and I know we're above them now, but nothing is saying that we potentially are going to stay up here. And nothing is, well, hold on. I'm going to say stay up here. I mean, nothing is saying we're going to blast off to the upside as of yet, but nothing is saying we're going to pull back in. What I mean by that is I could do a quick little breakdown of how this works is when it comes to tape reading, like these late prints, I'll put LP and I'll put, I look at them in the Qs and then the SPY, SPY, I look at the IWM, things like that. And another thing is the VIX. You'll see prints going there. You used to see prints going to gold, but that kind of changed since the crypto world came out, so you don't really see the flight into gold happen anymore. But you do see prints going to the VIX, and then you'll see selling in here, and that's usually what causes like a deeper pullback. But that's not actually happening. So I'm actually thinking since there's not a whole lot of VIX action yet, though there was some last week, and I'll show you them, kind of makes me think that the Qs potentially may want to pull back. But not like fall, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and just look at what happened last week. So I'm going to pull up the Qs. Right here, I have a printout of all of the prints that happened last week. So for the Qs, print levels that are worth noting are ones with they start right here in a 206. And I want to look for ones greater than 4 million right here. See, these are late prints. These ones occurred 24 hours prior to what happened, prior to the day that they hit the tape. So let's go ahead and what I want to do is organize this from, okay, it's still organized from, let's go back, largest, smallest. And let's go ahead and break this down and just see if there's anything greater than 4 million. That's all I want to do. And we're going to do it quick. So what I do is, okay, so this 206 print level, that is a late print. I'm going to go down to all of them that have the same price, right? They're all the same price. And I will show you this. Check this out. So you see how this is the same price going across all day, but look at the times, how they're different. Even though the keys are moving, these were all filled at different times. This is because they were filled, or this order was being filled yesterday, and they're hitting the tape today. But who knows? Maybe we'll make another video on that. All right, so let's go back on it. Sorry that it's kind of all over the place. I'm trying to think of an organized way to go about this and present this new information that a whole lot of people potentially don't know about. All right, so this is all of them for just 438, 38, 34. All right, all I do is highlight it, and I look down here, right here, for the sum. So that's 2 million. All right, nothing super crazy there. All right, 2 million. It's large, but it doesn't hit the threshold we got to worry about. All right, going down, keep going. All right, another one right here. These 206s. More late prints right here. So let's go ahead and go down to the 430s, 5719s. All right, that's all of them right there. Once again, look at here, 2 million. Okay, not overly concerning. For 2720, go down. Oh, look at that. That's a big old one right there. Bam. So, all right. So this is actually something worth noting because it's greater than 4 million. So I'm going to come back over here. Look. Boop. Right there. We'll call it rounded up, 4.5 million. It doesn't have to be so precise. 4.5 million. And we'll do that. I'm actually going to pull this up over here. Pull up my dark pool one. Come over here. And this is 4.5 because it beats that million threshold, 2 and 1. And then what was that price? 427.20. Oops. And this occurred, I have to know the date, 221. All right, let's get it up there. Bam. So that occurred. So that's interesting. So if we zoom in here, so that was before the earnings announcement. So 4.5 right here. So before NVIDIA. So we had these big prints come in. We're going lower, lower, more big late prints. Boom, we're lower. So that does paint the picture that's lower, but earnings comes out. I see a lot of out there is tape readers or people on social media that say they're reading the tape. Something I always notice that is missing is market correlation. Like they'll see these and be like, oh, I'm going to go bearish, they're bearish, but like there's market correlation. The market moves, and so you kind of still have to get the picture. So in a nutshell, as I'm looking at this, if we start to move below these levels, that means I'm not saying ditch your bullish positions, but at least be hedged. So at the moment is, like I mentioned, it was 427-ish. If we start to get below these levels, like I'm saying, be hedged. I personally, my portfolio is net, or the portfolio I have at the small account mentorship at Simpler Trading. Like we've been, this whole week, we've been trading around the dark pool, and its net delta is bullish, but because of all this price action, we have hedges. So I'm not saying a correction is coming. I'm not saying it's going to the bear market's back on. I'm just saying have some protection on and trail your stops, that type of thing. So that's that one day. Let's go ahead and continue on. All right, so that was the 21st. That was something worth noting. Keep on keeping on. Here we go. Here is another one. Let's see. The 425.60. All right, 1.6 million. Nothing crazy, or it doesn't hit the threshold there. All right, keep on going. All right, I believe that's it. Okay, so that was only one important print that came out. So that's all I'm going to annotate on here. As I'm not going to go and put all these smaller ones, but the bigger ones you can see. So that was before NVIDIA, we got lower, and then NVIDIA earnings come out, and then that skyrocketed, and therefore everything else skyrocketed. We rallied up into resistance. So in a nutshell, what does this say? It means at least just have some hedges on. Some price action is occurring up here, right? So there is some dark pool activity that is occurring up here. And if that is the case, and say this right here, this is almost a dark cloud cover, but not really. What's a dark cloud cover, you ask? If you're unfamiliar with the candlestick formation, is where you get a gap up and then it sells off and encompasses 50% of the prior candle's body. So it's not exactly 50%, but it's close enough, right? Close enough for a gap up, and it encompassed almost 50% of it. It's not textbook, but it's there. And so we have a reversal signal here. It's close enough for a potential reversal signal. If we start to get below these print levels right here, then it might be worth something thinking about. But if we don't start to just completely get below them, then hey, keep on keeping on to the bullish side. All right, so that's the cues. What is it saying? It means at least have some hedges and watch these levels watch these levels for hedging and trailing your stops. So we have 435.24, 434.47, and the other one is 427.20. So watch those levels. That's just the cues. And yes, you're probably thinking, man, this video is so long, or it's going to be long. I mean, that was one ticker, and we're 15 minutes into this thing. Well, that's kind of like how tape reading takes some work. Like I was going to go filter it all, but I wanted y'all to see exactly um, the work that goes into this. All right, so next up is a spy. I didn't even show y'all how I had to get this thing ready for filtering. All right, so ticker. Let's go and get some spy. All right. All right, here's another one right here. And we're just going to look for anything in the SPY is greater than 10 million late prints. So let's look for greater than 10 million late prints. And we'll try to mosey about this quickly because I know y'all have a lovely Sunday to enjoy here. So that's 2.6 million. Okay, keep on. All right, so that didn't have any. We'll go down this line. This is 499.53. See, that's all that one. That's 5. We'll call it 5.5. Okay, not really overly concerned about it. Just keep on scrolling down this way. The 427.21, and that is 3.6. Okay, we'll keep on going. And you're probably asking, why are these ones green? Well, because I started to prep it all. And so like the system did itself, I was started going through and highlighting it, and I was like, you know what, I should probably just show what goes into this. So that's why these ones are green, because I started to prep it, and then I decided to, no, go ahead and show y'all. So that one, 6.3, so nothing crazy there. And that is it. So nothing was greater than 10 million late prints, right? It doesn't even feel like that was, no, we had a short week last week. Let's see, so we got the 21st, so that's one day. I feel like I'm missing a day in there. 21st, 22nd. There's the 20th, 23rd. Is that right? 23rd, 22nd, 20th. When did the trading week start? Okay, it did start on the 20th. Okay, so that's why I feel so short. All right, cool. So nothing significant on the SPY. So what does that mean on the SPY? Well, on the SPY, that really means just there's no sign that we're going to at least break this consolidation point at this level yet. But if they start to come in, I don't know, maybe I'll tweet it as a way to like give the warning out there or something. But there's nothing of concern at the moment as the SPY goes. But I will point this out to y'all. If I go to the ES, this is a pretty good reversal signal up here at this highs near 5100. So it does kind of at the moment look like a potential little pullback. It would make sense right here, but it's something worth watching. But as far as the dark pool goes, nothing to be concerned about there. Now let's check the IWM. So IWM is looking a little bit, solid. Like, is this going to be a breakout point? Let's go ahead and find out. IWM. See what you got. All right, IWM and the diamonds of DIA are not overly as active. So there's some things to be aware of. But here's two right here. All right, so the IWM, we need to look for these 226s. And in the IWM, anything greater than 2 million-ish is worth noting or keeping on your radar. So if we go here, that's one. So that's only 250,000. There's another one. Oh, that goes actually with the other one. Why are these not filtered? Let's try that again. All right, so there is about 800,000. Okay, we'll keep on trucking on. scroll down a little bit to give it some room here. All right, let's look at the 199s. There is 600,000. Okay. Like I said, it's not as active. The main ones that are active are the Qs and the SPY. All right, well, hold on. There's a bunch right here. Let's see. Did we get it? 1.5. You know, that is close enough for me on the IWM. So let's go ahead and throw that on there. IWM. So I do have this 5.2 million, which is a pretty large one, right? And you can even see the volume bar down here. So, bam. So what's interesting about this is I want to show you all this. And this is how it shows a lot how the manipulation is in the market. And the reason this is also important is because, you know, there is a finessing when it comes to tape reading and watching volume at the bottom of your screen, like where you want the volume to be. Let me show you how price is manipulated. So right here, 5.2 million is a really large dark pool print in the IWM. It's huge, like it's big. So what does that mean? Right here, they were selling on this candle, which caused the dip lower. Okay, cool. We got a short, but check this out. The volume bar is in the low candle. So since they were selling this day, and like I told you, they have 24 hours to report, they put it in the next candle because that's the day it's hitting the tape. So it puts the volume in the wrong, puts the volume in the wrong candle, right? That's nuts, right? Did y'all know that? If you knew that was a thing, once again, not to sound like a YouTube influencer, but for real, I'm just trying to get the consensus out there from everyone that's out, or all the traders out there, all the people that are trading or learning and things like that. Like, did you know that happened? Like, did you know that institutions can sell hidden and not report it till the next day, and then the volume bar goes into the wrong candle? It's crazy, right? But anyways, let's go ahead and get that on there. I'll just move this over instead of like clicking back and forth. All right, IWM. This one was 1.5. It's not exactly 2, but you know what? This is close enough for, should I say government work? But let's see, where did that level go? Okay, there it is. The price is 198.71. And then this occurred on the 21st. And me, I always just put this at 0 because I don't need to know individually when it went in there. Bam. All right. So let's actually keep going before I go into this. I am liking what I'm seeing here. All right. So there's that one. Let's keep on going. All right. Some more late prints. We might actually get more right here. I'm wondering if this is saying that the IWM is going to break out to the upside. Let's go ahead and take a look. Exciting, right? All right. Close enough. This is 1.7. Well then. IWM is getting busy. I will say it is looking like potentially it's getting ready for a move if you were to ask me. It's not exactly 2, but it's close enough. Like I said, for me, it doesn't exactly have to be, no, it must be 2. Like no one is out there like saying it has to happen. But if that's the kind of person you want to be doing it, by all means, have at it. So 197.81, and this occurred on the 22nd. And I'm just going to highlight that. Boom. All right, this is looking interesting, folks. All right, let's keep on going. All right, that's all the IWM. I want to pull this back and let's look at IWM from a big picture. So for me, when it comes to trading the dark pool, like I don't get all over the place. The way I do it is the way I look at things is I like to know the trend. I like to know the pattern, and I want to know where the prints are. Like TPP. Maybe I'll think of something cool to call this. But so let's look at big picture. This is just one big consolidation, right? One big range. and we're poking our head above the range. This is weekly, right? Weekly time frame. Let's look over here on the daily. We poked our head above, we're pulled back to the 50, we're bouncing. Some big prints happened right here. We got the flush, and now it looks like some buying is coming in. It appears, right? So what can this do for us? What can we do with this information? There's two things of concern, or there's two things to not concern but consider. So I want to erase those. Okay, so we know that there is a ginormous one up here at 202. That's going to be a wall, but if we can get above it, then it's great. This could even be scaling in, to be quite honest. Like this could just been someone or the institution scaling in, got a pullback, cool, let's buy some more while we're down here. And so in a nutshell, what can this mean is if this is going to hold the support, these prints, and we could get above, basically we'll call it 202, we'll call it 203, maybe even 205. Like if we get above this level, that is going to cause a pop in the IWM, right? So that is if they're buying for the breakout. If we can get above, I would say 205. If the IWM can get above, close, I'll say close above 205. Rock and roll IWM, we're going back up at least to go hit 210, and then we'll go up to 220 and so on and so forth. But what if it's not? What if this is just selling at the top of this range and the pullback's going to happen? Fair concern. So the way we look at that is if this is a fade, or so we failed, hit the 50, bounce into resistance, this gray zone, right? That's right here, is this whole box that I have drawn right here. So, boom, boom, up. Okay, what if we start a step here? If we get a red candle that goes like this, if we're below that print, and below this print, it's fair to say we're going back in the box. And what I mean by box, I mean this box. But say the 50-day SMA holds, we don't close back below these print levels. I say be patient, and then once you get your close above 205, I think the IWM is going up. So in a nutshell, what are my thoughts here? If we get back below these prints and close below the 50 SMA with like a big red candle, I think we're going back down, back in the box. If price can hold above these prints and we get above this print and we close above 205, then I think we're going back up. Then we're breaking out of this box. And if we break out of this box, I mean, I think it's going to cause quite a big run. We've been consolidating for a really long time. Cool. So that's the IWM. So we've done the SPY, the Qs, IWM. And next is the diamonds. Diamonds. So there is not a whole lot on the diamonds. Like they're pretty rare in the diamonds. So anything greater than 1 million on the diamonds is worth watching. And so it's pretty rare when we get them. And like the diamonds, usually when you start to get prints on the diamonds, that's usually when you get the move. Like you start to get moves, right? And so you can see right here, like the diamonds barely had anything. So there's two right there. So basically 250,000 shares, and then there's some right here, and basically close to 250,000 shares as well. So diamonds, there's no change in the diamonds. All right, so that's that. Now there has been concern, like the topic of Amazon, Meta, and JP Morgan. So let's go ahead and look at those real quick. Like, is there anything to be worried about? Well, actually, hold on. Let me go back over here. Let's clear. Let's go here. Let's go look at the VIX. Is there a flight to safety? All right, so this, I will say there is some volume that's come in right here. So what I mean by that, look, there was a 12% and a 3 and 3. This 12% right here, the theme in late, something worth watching. That's quite a bit. It's right at, actually, never mind. Let's look at this. So this looks like it was right before NVIDIA earnings. So this came in on the 20th at 418, quite a bit at 1487. So let's pull it up. And this is an ETN, so it's not your typical one. So basically all that means is actually that was one big, it looks like one big sell print, unless we get above it, or if we start to get more involved in it, right? So if you look at it here, it was at 1487. It's all the way up here. It was in this day. So right before the NVIDIA earnings, and then you can see we're all below it. So we can only assume that's selling. So it doesn't look like anyone's flying to safety at the moment. If that changes next week, like I said, maybe I'll tweet it or something. But at the moment, there is nothing. I am not forecasting anything to be concerned about other than, maybe have some hedges. Watch the Qs if we break those levels, and the IWM is looking pretty strong. And actually, so since I broke down those indexes, let's just break that down real quick. We'll do a quick recap. That way, it's kind of you're kind of tracking what's going on here. All right, the VIX, like we talked about, a large print down here or up here. There was one on the 23rd, which was Friday, 3% at 14, which is right where it's kind of at. Okay. So, nothing crazy yet. Not to say it can't be crazy on Monday. If late prints they could have been selling on Friday and they're not going to hit the tape until tomorrow. But at the moment, it looks like we're below these larger ones and you just have to stay patient. So there's nothing saying you have to rush out. So the VIX shows that there is no flight to hedging, I guess is what I should say. No one is hedging themselves right now in terms of volatility. Then we talked about the diamonds. The diamonds have no print action coming in at these levels, other than there's been a few throughout here, but nothing worth documenting and noting. IWM. We talked about there is some action happening down here at these lows and this high, and a close above 205 up here causes a breakout. Actually, you know what? I am going to set an alert. I want to put 2.450 just to give me a heads up. Breakout above 205. That way, I already know. I already have my dark pool action on or prints on there. I'll be able to look at it there. All right, the Qs. And so we've had some of those levels that come in here, right? There's a potential dark cloud cover at resistance. And so I guess it really does make you think at the most, say we do get below these print levels. I guess this is how I go about it. Say this dark cloud cover does fall through and we close below these prints right here, right below the 435 and 434-ish. So we close below these. All that's probably going to happen is a gap fill down to this large print because nothing is at the moment is saying that it's going to be a much deeper one. So at that point, if that gap fill happens, all that's going to mean is like if we get rid of all these lines, all that's going to be is consolidation, right? Even if it does a gap fill. So bam, bam, below these prints, cool, gap fill. It's going to bounce again. It's just consolidation until it gets its reason to potentially break out. But we'll see, right? I mean, the story can change, but at the moment, that's what it looks like the story is being told. And the last one, talked about the SPY. Nothing crazy happening up here. So it does still just look like potentially consolidation, but at least have hedging on. And, but yeah, so we'll go from there. All right, so next, I did talk about JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley, or not Morgan Stanley, sorry, I was going down the financial name, but JP Morgan, Amazon, and Meta, because they were selling some. All the CEOs were selling. So there is this larger one right here. And the thing about it is that I was looking at these and they're not looking at the moment. Let's pull this up here. I'm actually going to move this over so I can just look at it while I'm doing this here. All right, so for like the week, I'm just going to draw them out over here so we can kind of see. All right, so for the week, the large print was at 179.73. 179.73. So that is all the way down here. So that's that 13% one. There's some more prints at 183.07, which is right here. Right here. Yeah, basically in a nutshell, I'm not concerned. To me, this just looks like a sign of a reversal pattern. And then if it does break the low, then it's just a pullback. Like nothing overly to be concerned about other than a healthy pullback. And I think a pullback is warranted in this market. I'm like, let's be honest, it's hard to buy at these levels. So here's those print levels that came in JP Morgan last week. I personally don't see anything to be worried about unless more come in. But at the moment, the trend is higher, a reversal signal, and sure, there's some prints along the way. Maybe we'll pull back and consolidate here, but I don't see anything worth being concerned of basically being tricked, right? That's one thing I think people are always concerned about is like, oh man, we're getting tricked. Like someone knows something we don't know. It's like you're worried something's going to go against you, or you don't know something that someone else knows. Like I'm not seeing anything at the moment in JP Morgan, anyways. And to be quite honest, you'll see it in the indexes before. I have never seen a bunch of prints go into tickers, like individual stocks, before the indexes. Usually it's the other way around. Or you see them all coming at once. You see a bunch of prints going across the SPY and the Qs. You'll see the VIX getting a bunch of prints, and then you'll see large prints going across the major indexes or the major stocks. And as of right now, probably be across the Mag 7, since that's it's funny. We went from FANG to Mag 7. But if the Mag 7 started to get some large prints with the index and stuff, sure, that is something to be worried about, but that's not happening yet. So I say just keep on keeping on. Nothing at the moment. All right, so here is Meta. And since this isn't like the since this isn't the like you're not I don't see any late prints here. Usually when you see late prints on stocks, you get a pretty good little hidden move. But at the moment, you see all that's not going to help anybody. Let's go here. All this, these 1% and 2%, like that's nothing abnormal. Like that is very small. And there's not a huge repetition of them. So all these came across at the close. For all I know, that could have been Zuckerberg. It's funny how they're all coming on the 20th. JP Morgan's the larger ones came across on the 20th. But everything else is kind of like meh. Yeah, so I don't see anything worth worrying about or being concerned about here. And if we looked at Meta, I mean, like, it's just consolidating up here. And I mean, a pullback, I think it would be, if it does do a pullback and test this gap right here at the daily 21 EMA, like at the moment, I don't see anything to be concerned about. So it's drifting higher on the volume there, so I don't think anything to be worried about. Now, Amazon was a little bit different. I'd already looked at Amazon on the prints, and I'll show you. Look at this bad boy right there. Skadoosh, 11%. That's the big one I was watching there. Came in right at the close. Let's make sure that's not a market on close print. Amazon closed at, oh, that's a market on close print. All right, so if you didn't know, when it comes to tape reading, you see how the market closed here, institutions and like there's market on close prints, right? Everyone knows, especially part of the simpler trading community, where they'll look for the imbalance and balance of the market on close orders. You see how we closed at 174.99? Unless someone just timed that right at the dead highs, I will say that's a little bit of concern. But see right here, looks like a market on close print. But not to say that doesn't give it um, any validity, right? But that one is something certainly worth watching. And I say this is a straight up print. And what I mean by straight up print is because the print size. It's not a solid. When I see one like this, I have to go and look in the options market to see if it's a market maker coming in and taking the shares because of a large options position. But that is straight up share position because now it's not a whole rounded number. But that's something worth watching. Just watch that level. But I will say, so if that really large print happened up here, and if we look down here, there's actually some decent volume coming in at these highs. I don't like how we're against this resistance. And if I crunch this, let's just draw this line across here. That's right where we're at, right? This zone. So we're right at weekly resistance. I think it makes sense for profit taking to be happening here on volume. And if this does cause a pullback, I think you just wait for your pullback and look to get long again. I don't think that the weekly is going to crash all the way down here, but I do think some consolidation test here. And if it does break this level, then about this level, test the gap. But other than that, I don't see anything other than some profit taking at some highs. I mean, that's what all of us would do, right? Any of y'all watching this video would be like, oh yeah, I'd take profits at the highs. So yeah, I don't see anything worth changing there, or not changing, but being concerned. All right, so that's the main thing I wanted to show y'all here in this video, and thank y'all if you're still watching and hanging on. Thank you for hanging out and watching this video with me. But what I do want to show y'all now is the trade idea heading into next week. And I do like this idea. I've been stalking it for a while, and I think I'm finally getting the signal. So once again, congratulations on hanging out to the end of this. I hope you found this video helpful. Now here's a trade idea that I'm willing to give y'all. So it is actually, we'll use gold futures. I'm actually thinking about taking gold long, dare I say. Okay, so I want to crunch this. Come out weekly. Okay, so let's talk about first, let's look at the trend. The trend, for the most part on the weekly part, it's above all its moving averages. It's right at this weekly support level. Resistance, which is what it was here, it was here, it was here. We spiked up above it, pulled back, been consolidating at it, and it looks like we just want to hug this level, which I'm going to call resist or support. I'm thinking support is becoming resistance. So that's the the trend is up, like I said here. Now what's the pattern? It looks like resistance has become support right here. I do like how price has pushed up above the 50-day SMA on above average volume right here, right? So I got my trend, got my pattern, which is my resistance became support. We're closing above the 50-day SMA on volume. Great. Now what about the prints? Well, when it comes to the prints, institutions, or a institution that I have noticed likes to trade IAU. I bet you didn't even know that was a ticker for gold. Well, here it is for last week. And actually, you know what? Hold up. I think I need to get everyone stand by. Okay. I'm just going to get a larger print level reading. Let's see, all the way across here to November. That's what it was, to November. Yes, I have to go all the way to November to show you this. So I got IAU here. All I want to do is go down. You see this 38.55, and this was 111% was average daily volume at 38.55. And then if we go forth throughout the rest of the, we'll go further in time, not further down, but closer in time where we're at now. So 38.55 is right there. And you can see as we move closer, you can see that there's about 5%, and then we'll call it 3, and then more 3%. But there's this one that occurred on 2.7. So if I come over here, 2.7, or that's gold right there. So I'll go to IAU. AU. Yes, 38.55. And it was basically 5.7 million. And this was 1,100%. This occurred on the 7th. Bam. And that's right where we're at, right? So what exactly does this mean for gold? So I'm going to watch IAU to watch for a breakout. So this is what happens a lot. And I've seen this a lot of times, and I've seen some people call it other things. I don't know what you call it, but I'm not going to call it out, whatever, but we're just going to acknowledge it. So there was a large print level here, right? Trend is going higher, large print level causes the flush, and then there is some dark pool activity happening up here, and you also see some volume coming in down here. and right back at it, we would claim the 50 SMA. If we're here at 38.55, that's where that large print is. If we can close above, what is this print level? Where is this high? I'll call it 38.75. I'm going to make it green. I'm going to say trigger long on gold, right? I'm not going to trade IAU, but I might trade GLD or even gold futures. So that's the trigger long, a close above 38.75. So if this price action can get above this really large print level right here, I want it to close above this resistance level. That also creates a little bit of this little flag that's here. If it could break out of there, then boom, that opens the door, at least go higher. So if IAU can get above 38, close above 38.75, then I think that gold futures can break up out of here to at least come back up to 2100. If you want to trade gold futures, you can trade options on gold futures, or if you want to trade GLD, same thing. It's all the same. You trade GLD and look for a push higher as well, up to about, looks like at least 92 to see if it wants to keep going or not. But that's what I'm liking there. That's the free trade I want to take to you. So just a quick recap as far as a trade idea is IAU, close above 38.75 based off of the larger trend being bullish. We've got a pullback to the weekly 21 EMA, printed a reversal candle, triggering a long based off of breaking that high last week close. But on the daily, we close above the 50 SMA. We have this large print level. So if we can get above these prints and above this level that's looking like resistance, that will be a great long entry, dare I say, gold. So that's what I'll be watching for next week. But once again, thank you for hanging out through this entire video. Hopefully you found it helpful. And answer all those questions if you listen. By all means, like I said, throw them in the comment section. Let me know if you knew that they were putting volume in the wrong candles. Give me an idea on what to name this report. Or we don't even have to call it a report. We call it something. I don't know. And but yeah, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Sunday. And I will catch y'all next week. And I will tweet if you're unaware. Head on over to Twitter and look up active profits. And then maybe I'll tweet anything that comes out. Yeah, there we go. Active profits. If anything comes out weird, I'll tweet it, and then that way at least you get a heads up. But like I said, enjoy your weekend, everybody, or the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see y'all again next week. Take care, everybody.